you sound like a right there. I don't have it.
It's been a while since I did. Still so live.
All right, welcome back to another episode of On the Throne with Dick, and shout out to Senjin Boychuk for that incredible outro. And find him everywhere on the socials: YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, everywhere you want to be or he wants to be, whatever. And you know what? On this week's episode of the podcast, we have another live stream. We're live streaming it. Like, by live stream, I mean we're together. I've only done this is the second time ever I've done a podcast in person. But not only are we together doing this, we're live streaming it on the internet too, right? Like, it's on Twitch at On the Throne Podcast, and it's on YouTube at Dick Frost, and then it's over on the On the Throne Podcast TikTok channel. And then, are you on TikTok over here?
I'm on TikTok on my phone.
It's on TikTok on his phone.
Yeah.
We're live streaming this podcast everywhere.
Give the people what they want.
Giving the people what they want.
Yeah.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
I guess I should say who you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we're here. We're live streaming. We're live streaming with OGR Scintilla.
Mm-hmm.
The man, the myth, the legend. He is so fucking tall. Like
I guess it's already, you're just looking at our crotches. You can't really tell.
He's like, what, 6'6"?
Yeah, I'm 6'6".
And I'm 5'4".
Yeah.
You are like literally a foot and like 2 inches taller than me. You're like a Subway sandwich taller than me. You're a Subway sandwich taller than me.
You know those memes where people like Americans will measure anything, measure things in anything except the metric system?
Yeah.
They'll be like, this is so many football fields, or like so many American Eagles spread wing to wing long, or whatever. It's just like, you're a Subway sandwich longer than me.
I learned that a buttload is actual measurement.
Did I tell you that?
You told
that
me
was
that.
In my post.
You told me that.
Yeah.
You, it's like 144 liters or 200 or 120 gallons.
Yeah, it's like a butt was a keg that they used to make like liquor in. And so it was like a buttload was like a certain amount of butts. And
on last week's podcast, it isn't out yet, but I actually talked about it.
Really?
Yeah, thanks to you. Who knew?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so we're fresh off our, Carl's Jr. reached out to me.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that you were also doing something for them. And then I saw your video and I'm like, damn, dude, he did one too?
Yeah.
When I watched your video, I wanted to throw mine in the garbage. I wanted to delete it, right? But like, I was like, no, mine's good, right?
Oh, yeah.
To me, it's good.
Oh my God. She's beautiful to me.
She's beautiful to me, shallow Hal, And so I was super pumped when I saw yours, and then you reached out to me, and you're like, yeah, we should do one together. And you reached out to them, and here we are. It was like less than a week ago.
Yeah.
And here we are today. We just filmed it. We just filmed our ad, and dude, like, it was so cool hanging out with another content creator. Someone who's bigger than me, someone who has more experience than me in that realm of things.
That's so weird.
And man. And like, it was interesting, because usually like I'm the one hanging out with smaller creators than me, right? Yeah. In person anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And like, they're looking at me like, hey, what do you want to do? Right.
Yeah.
It's like, well, no. Now I'm like, how do you want to do this, man? Like, you have that experience, but yeah, man, it was a lot of fun, dude.
Yeah.
And, I felt like, oh my God, he's going to carry this, like it's going to be all his ideas, but I think we equally added in enough,
totally,
ideas and gave it our real oomph, a real college try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, I've not always been the best at like collaborating with people, but I'm getting a lot better at just like when you hear each other's ideas and both contribute, you come up with something that's like neither of us could have done it alone.
Yeah.
Neither of us could have done it alone, and it's funnier than what we would have done alone. It's like got more like perspective because you've got like just like you're a Leafs fan, so you're like, ooh, that one joke that's gonna hurt.
Yeah. Like, you're like, should I scrap that one? I'm like, no, anything you leave that one because that one's gonna sting a little bit, and that's what we want. So yeah, we're live streaming everywhere. It's pretty neat. TikTok over there, YouTube and Twitch over there, and over here you can see comments. I know people are commenting and coming in and out over there.
Yeah,
but Yeah, man. No, this is my second ever live stream and my first ever live stream to TikTok. I've live streamed the podcast before.
How's it feel? Do you feel like there's eyes on you right now?
There are eyes on me. It always feels like somebody's watching me.
I got into live streaming because basically I've had this policy in my mind where whenever these apps put out a new feature, they're going to push it. And when TikTok first added live streaming, they were really pushing it. And like your live streams could get a heap of views. So I was just going for it. And at first it's really weird to like just have this phone like staring at you and people just come in, you know, like you might not have as many people or whatever. I can't see how many people in it, but it'd be like, you know, there's 10 people and then an 11th person comes in and like, hey, then you're like, oh, hi. And then they leave and you're just like, and you don't know what's going. You're just like, it's weird. But then, you just like start to kind of forget about it or whatever. Yeah.
Well, over there on mine right now, my wife is calling me. So that one's paused. They're not seeing shit or hearing shit over there until she stops calling. So, but yeah, man, when I first started and I was able to go live, I was able to live stream for the first time. It was like 1,000 followers back in the day, right? Now it's like 300 or something. Okay, now you can live stream. You just can't show your face while you're doing it.
Oh, really?
Until you hit 1,000, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I couldn't do it alone. I could not live stream by myself. I had to have someone in the room going with me and being my hype guy or adding something in, right? And now I prefer to be alone. Right? Like I prefer to be alone, out of the public eye, out of the eye of anyone. But if I'm going to be with someone, I want it to be someone that also knows that space, right? Because they know, like, it's like having a podcast, right? Like when I'm collaborating with other podcasters on a podcast, let's say like, you know, I'm on their podcast or they know that as a host of my own podcast, they don't have to try to make it entertaining for me. I know for them, like, okay, they've already got a lot of work on their plate. They don't have to try to crack me open and make it interesting. I'm going to try to make it interesting for them, right? Whereas when I'm doing it with someone else, like that's never been on a podcast before, right? They get a little nervous sometimes. And sometimes you look up and you're like, man, it's only been 20 minutes. How the hell are we going to make this an hour? It's only been 5 minutes. How the hell are we going to make this an hour, right? And then there's times where you look up, it's been an hour and a half already. Oh my God, we got so much to talk about still, right? And man, it's like that when I'm with another content creator, right? Like, you know, we bring together our skills, and if you want to call them skills, I don't know about that, but like, I mean, they're skills. Hey, man, like they're getting us things, right? We're working hard at stuff in life, and I guess you want to call it working hard. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work.
Type of work,
It's a different type of work. You know, working my blue collar job for 100 hours a week. And then dumping almost half of that into podcasting and content creation, like 50 hours a week, roughly on top of that. It's exhausting, man. Like, so like it is another full-time job really on top of that, right? Once you get in, like you're sending out messages to people to come on and hey, you want to collaborate, hey, you want to do this, you're editing, you're doing that, you're actually like, you put in an hour and a half of the podcast stuff. You got yourself a full-time job, right?
You're creeping up on 100 episodes. So I'm curious because I feel like when I'm speaking with someone as a friend in the room, I love having conversations, but in terms of guiding a podcast with someone who like might be nervous, what have you learned? Like, how's it different than just having a conversation?
So what is one thing that we all can relate with, right? Like, it could be many things, but like there is certain segments of my show that I've noticed, like after that segment hits, it opens up. Right? Like we were a little serious. I'm trying to crack them open maybe a little bit. And then I hit them with hey, do you know what viscosity is? Right? And it's the thickness of a load, right? We're going to get into this early, I guess. We're doing it fucking 9 minutes, almost 10 minutes in. Do you know what viscosity is?
I know in general, I've heard the word.
Okay, so like, what does viscosity mean to you?
To me, viscosity is, like thickness. Like when I think of something as being viscous, I think of it as like a sauce or even thicker than a sauce.
Oh boy, you see why this gets people open up. Right? You see why this works, man. This works for a reason, right? And it's like the podcast is sponsored by the Mud Man. and the Mudman deals in viscosity, right?
This was a bit.
This is a bit, and usually I don't.
You got me so good.
So, usually, right? So like, the podcast is sponsored by the Mudman, who deals in the thickness of the fluid, right? Right, and he's taken the the fluid going downhole on a drilling, right?
Okay.
So if it's too thick, he's got to thin it up. He's got to make it less viscous. If it's too thin, he's got to make it more viscous.
Yeah.
Right. And he has like all these cool measuring cups and fancy measuring cups. He's digitalized it and just, he's got his own thing going on. So for all your drilling fluid and laboratory testing equipment needs, check out the Mudman, www.mudmanmarket.com for all, you know what I mean? And that's what opens people up, right? It was like, hey, how thick is your load, bud? And they're like, what? Right? What? What's going on here, right? And usually we don't do it for another 30 minutes.
Yeah.
But like, fuck it. But the Mudman, dude, the Mudman's had my back through a lot. And I shout him out on the podcast as much as I can, right? It's an ad, but like, so he, at the very beginning, the first time you were on my podcast, because this is the second time you've been on my podcast.
Yeah.
I raw dogged the shit out of that.
Viscous load?
Yeah. Yeah. I raw dogged the shit out of that viscous load. I raw dogged the shit out of that audio. I'm just getting over a cold. But I raw dogged the shit out of that audio. And he got me a headset and a mic.
Yeah.
And they're upstairs right now because he also recently supplied me with the brand new MacBook Pro, right? And I don't need the mic and I don't need the headset, right? Like the audio quality's been like fairly good, right? And so, stuff like that gets people open, right?
Yeah.
Like, you see how open you came? You were already open. Like,
yeah.
Why?
I'm open for the viscous load.
You're open for the viscous load. Oh shit! Here we go. Hey, let's say there's 11 people watching over there over on TikTok, and I don't know how many are on yours. And then
what's up?
Cool. Nobody's watching over on YouTube or Twitch. So cool. What's up with that?
Yeah.
And
this is the first time. I mean, that's the way it goes. Like, if you, we just threw it up. I love trying different things like this.
Yeah.
I've become very, very open to what might appear to be a failure.
Yeah.
And just I'm very unembarrassed
That's
by
how the whole internet works.
Yeah.
Like the whole internet, throwing videos out and being a content creator, you got to be cool with it, right? You got to be cool with, all right, let's throw this video up. All right, let's see how many times you can get kicked in the face and still want to come back for more, right? And that's the whole social media game, right? Like, okay, well, this video went viral. I'm going to throw this out there and, oh, shit, that one got 1 million views, but this one got 10? What the hell? You throw up another one, that one got 1,000 views, this one gets 2,000. I don't give a shit about views anymore. And our good friend Gord, our mutual friend Gord, taught me that.
That's
cool. You can never, because he was the very first episode with Gord. I live streamed.
Yeah.
Right. We did a crossover with his podcast, and it was live streamed, and there was 5 people in there watching. I'm like, man, sorry for a live stream. There's only 5 people. He's like, are you kidding me? If 5 people were standing in the room with us right now while we were doing this, we'd be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
He's like, that number 5 is small, but 5 people together, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So when you think about that, what's your highest viewed video?
I think it's one on Instagram. It has 6.8 million views.
6.8 million. I'm beating you. I'm fucking kicking your ass.
Do you have what's your highest viewed video?
12.7 million.
That's wild.
12.7 million people were watching me make that video and act like a complete ass of myself.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Could you imagine? Actually, that's crazy to think about.
Right? I'm up on a stage and 12.7 million people are watching me make a video.
What is it, 40,000 people at the Super Bowl? 50,000 or more?
Yeah, I think it may be 80,000.
80,000? Yeah. That's such a small fraction of 12 million. You imagine how many Super Bowls worth of people would be in a stadium? It'd be I don't know. Let's not get into math. But
I'm not good at it. I feel grade 9 math probably 3 times.
I was going to say, if it was 100,000, imagine that's 10 of those is 1 million.
That's easy math.
So
I learned that in grade 2.
10 times 12. That's you would have to perform that video in front of the Super Bowl 120 times.
Jesus. Jesus. You're just,
if you do that every day, that's every day for three months? No, 4 months.
You're the math whiz here.
12 divided, like, if I'm not mistaken. Imagine for 4 months every day going to a stadium with 100,000 people.
Yeah.
And like showing them that video.
Yeah.
And then they'll just leave.
Yeah. So I have another question for you. And this is what gets people open now too. This is a new segment on my show. We're doing it early. Yeah. We're doing it early. We're just going to slap you with it, okay?
When I asked you what the difference between a regular conversation and a podcast is.
Like, this is
the difference.
So, does your truck engine ever need a boost?
The old girl needs a little more than a boost sometimes. Yeah.
There you go. I'm an old girl, okay? Like, I need more than a boost sometimes. And that's funny that you said boost, but because the podcast is sponsored by Steady Freddy. And Steady Freddy deals in men's sexual health, right? They saw a guy named Dick on the internet, and they thought, like, men's sexual health, who better to fucking throw it out there?
Are we still talking about trucks?
This is not about a truck. So, did you know that?
Can I change my answer? I'm embarrassed now.
One in three men suffer, and shouldn't be the word. 1 in 3 men experience what do you call it? They experience premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
1 in 3 men experience premature ejaculation, and you know what? We're trying to normalize that.
Yeah.
Right? Because like we're men, right? As we get older, we're So they have this shit called delay sprays. And delay spray, it helps up your stamina, and it helps.
It delays your spray.
It delays your spray. Look at that. You're like a skunk. Right? Like, except you're not like, it's not coming out your ass this time. Right? So, yeah. So,
for myself personally, if that's, I'm not going to criticize anyone's lifestyle.
There you go. So, it helps enhance your stamina and your performance. And you don't know what this is. Maybe you do, because as a man who works away in the oil field, and I'm gone for a month or more at a time sometimes.
Yeah.
I come home and I come home like this, right? Like I come home like this, like I'm just walking down the street or in the house like that. What if I forget how to moan? What if I bark? Right? And
that's great.
Right? And right. So I come home just humping the air. Right? Yeah. Like I'm roaring, ready to go. Yeah. The lay spray kind of numbs it. So it gives you that little extra time that you need, right? And I think that's pretty cool, right? Yeah. And they also have this shit called Ball Booster, right? Which is like you take 2 pills, right, daily, and it's like a supplement for your boys, right? Yeah. There's 2 of them. They're boys, right? And they're both boys, right? So you take 2 of those, and it also enhances your stamina, and it's like a boost to the engine, right?
Yeah.
You're just like, you're giving it. You're doing your thing. So, yeah.
I had something I wanted to say, because I think that there is this stereotype or misconception that each man lasts a certain time, and that is like how long you last. And that is so false, and guys just don't talk about this. Everyone lasts different amount of times on different days. Right. It's based on your emotions and how much stress you have, and if you've had caffeine and how much sleep you've had, all these factors. And so it has nothing to do with you as a person. And it's just like, sometimes environmental factors come into play and you need help. And so that's like a stigma that I want people to, because I remember as a young person, like there's a lot of jokes about this stuff. We're playing, we're being an example of that, but it's like, it's not something that is like set in stone. It's something that you can change. It's something that you can, that varies from day to day. Right. And it's like, so it's nothing to be ashamed about, to just be like, I
got the delay spray upstairs. You want to try some? Right here for everyone. Just and then we wait.
We are on the gray couch. We are in the basement, and I don't think I need to be famous that badly.
This is the casting couch. Welcome to the casting couch. www.steadyfreddy.com. And if you are experiencing, performance enhancing problems or premature ejaculation and you want to try this stuff, www.steadyfreddy.com and use code DFrost10 to save yourself 10% off. Boost those boys,
Boost the boys.
Numb that shit, right? and so moving away from that, we're still going to stay in that a little bit, but like, did you know that as a man in my mid-30s, and how old are you?
I am 29.
You're not there yet.
Yeah.
This is awesome. Things you can experience as that clock turns over to 30 and beyond.
Yeah.
As a man in your mid-30s, men in their mid-30s have the biggest loads they'll ever have. It's fucking true. It's true. Just the part of where your body's at. Yeah. And this doesn't mean for if you're in your mid-30s and you're experiencing little ones, like, I'm sorry, right? Like, it's not for everybody, but like, not everybody fits on the Rasta, right? So, men in their mid-30s, they experience bigger lows than they've ever experienced before, right? And I can confirm, right? Like, but I also eat a lot of zinc and magnesium, and that helps. Right? That helps. And like, there's another thing. You want to like up the amount of production you have, and you want to get those boys out there in numbers. Eat a lot of zinc, right? And that's just I don't even know where we're at this point. What's going on here? Is that Captain Kobe? Captain Kobe says I need Kobe for the 100th episode. Brother, I've been trying to get you on for like a year now, man. Yes, that is a possibility. But like, man, like this is how we open people up.
Yeah.
Right? Like, things that we all can relate with. And what do? We all eat and we all get to humping, right? So like, you know what I mean? So like,
skip right over sleep. We all eat.
Who needs sleep?
Some people don't sleep.
Who needs sleep? Yeah. Not me. Right? I sleep probably more than most people. Right? Like, I got it.
Yeah. How many hours do you sleep?
So like as many as I can. When I'm at work, if I can, I'm closing the eyes, right? If I'm as a swamper on a back truck, I'm not doing that anymore. But as a swamper on a back truck, anytime I was in the truck, I've said this a lot before, and I think I even said it to you on the first podcast. When I am a passenger in any vehicle, there's two things you can guarantee: I've got a boner and I'm asleep. Right? Like, two things you can guarantee. Two absolutes in life, man. Like, I do not keep my eyes open in a moving vehicle, and I cannot stay flaccid. Right? Like, that's just how it is. And boy, was that awkward to discover that my dad was the one who pointed that out to me. Right?
Jesus Christ.
Cheers to him, right? Like, here you go. How many people you got in your room over there? Look at that. 8 over there and 3 over here. I think I lost people when I said my dad, but whatever.
That's all right.
Whatever. I don't care. Yep. And, like, we're having a good time. And, when we were talking about getting together for the podcast and whatnot, after our Carl's collab, I was like, fuck yeah, man. Like, let's do this. Let's do a podcast. Well, you could have been my first. Hey, but you're not. You're my second, which is still a good number to be, right? Like, you're still there second. Like, Christopher Columbus wasn't exactly first, was he? Did he plant his flag first? I don't know. Anyways, so where I was going with it is that, like, we're here, we're doing it, we're live streaming. It evolved so quickly because at first we weren't going to live stream it anywhere. And then it's like, we should have live streamed this. Boom, let's put up a quick video, throw it out there, and here we are, right? And, for anyone that doesn't know that you were on the first episode, what do you do for a living besides make content, which we all know you do. So, like, what do you do for a living? And,
So in terms of content, I make content because I'm a musician, and I wanted to be a musician for a really long time, just like since I was 12. Love writing songs, and then I got into like comedy music. So I create parody songs about Canada, and I also live on the family farm. And then a few months of the year, in the busy times of the year, I help my dad and my uncle with harvest and calving season on the farm.
We talked about calving season last time, and how many calves did you have this spring?
180 some.
And how many cows were pregnant?
Oh shit, yeah. No, I don't have the numbers in my head this time. No, but yeah, we went positive. we went positive numbers where because we had twins and we kept like all the calves from dying, we had more calves than cows by like I think 2 or 3 or something like that. I forget.
Yeah, last time I was like, so like they don't like produce like puppies and have 2 or 3 per cow.
No, typically just one.
Yeah,
and typically we have more die because they just cows be dying.
I've always wanted to milk a cow. Just I always wanted to milk a bull, I should say. But like I've always wanted to milk a cow, and I haven't found an Alberta farmer that's willing to let me milk their cow yet.
Yeah.
Right. And do you like have like the machines that hook up to the nips and like?
Here's the machines right here.
Yeah, you go ahead.
Thunder and lightning.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Next spring is it? When can I come down and milk a cow?
Mid-April.
Mid-April.
Yeah.
I will be there to milk a cow.
Yeah.
I'll be. Don't talk me out of this.
No, I'm serious. Like you can come down and you can milk a cow.
But don't cows need to be milked like every day?
Yes.
So I could come down like tomorrow.
Well, the cows right now their calves are drinking their milk. When we are milking a cow,
to be a calf. That
would be like a Jackass skit if you just dressed up like a little cow and crawled through the herd. All the cows would just be staring at you.
Today I'm gonna milk a cow.
Mother.
Mom.
No, but yeah, it's like when a calf is having trouble getting going.
Yeah.
Or if a cow loses its calf, then we milk her, and then if there's like an extra set of twins or something, we'll put one on there. So you should still call before you come because we might not have any cows that need milking, and in which case
we have like how many cows do you have all together? Because you have 180 cows roughly that gave birth.
Yeah, normally I say around 200 total.
200 total,
but it's like between 180 and.
So what do you do with the cows from the last season? Like you don't keep them. You don't like multiply the field and be like, hey, now we have like 500 cows to milk.
So all the boy calves that are coming on like 5 months old, they're going to go to the auction market, go to a feedlot, get fattened up, and then we'll eat them. Well, the world will eat them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we're not just.
Didn't we just eat one?
We're not actually just raising them to send them off to college. We're actually, and then
he's going places. Not college, but places.
Most of the heifers we have will also heifer is a girl cow.
Yeah,
for the less. Yeah. The less in the know, and a majority of them will go to the auction market, and some of them will get bought by other farmers for replacements.
Yeah.
And then probably the top 30 best looking heifers with the best genetics and like skeletal structure will be kept for replacements because
nice hips. Like, are we talking like cows, like wide childbearing hips? Like they've got big old breasts on them, and their like hips are like juicy, and their thighs are like that's a nice heifer.
Farmers are a little bit ahead of the curve because you know how now it's all about like the big butts.
Yeah.
And people don't necessarily want bigger boobs.
Yeah.
With a cow, big hips for giving birth, and then a smaller bag typically. Because the bag over time will get bigger as they get older.
It'll go down to their knees.
Yeah. So if you have like a young heifer that already has a big bag, by the time she's like 5 or 6 years old, she's gonna look like your junior high librarian.
I don't know, man. Mrs. Miller was not bad looking, and as the older I get, the better she seems. Like you put them glasses on the string down over her nose a little bit like that. She's like, shh, right? Like
we used to joke that our librarian would stuff them in her belt and.
Did you see that Matt Rife stand up?
No.
Matt Rife just there was a lady with cancer at his show, and he's like she was like half black, half white, right? And she's like she was actually pretty dark for a half black, but he's like, I don't know. You could be Tupac. Nobody know where he's at, right? Like she's bald and shit, right? And then he's like, so where's the cancer at? And whatnot, and we're talking, and he's like, all right, come on up for a picture. We'll take a picture. Stuff your boobs in your belt buckle and come on up. Lady, right? And that Matt Rife, I love that guy, man. He's hilarious.
He's really good at improvisation. Lots of people are hating on him now.
Yeah, for the crowd work shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and it's like, man, if you make it work how you make it work.
I understand how he looks so not likable. Like he looks like sort of like the stereotypical, what do you call it, like frat boy.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
So he looks like that, but then I hear him speak, and he seems like a decent enough person. And I don't know him personally. I've learned so much more about like people really feel entitled to judging people they've never met because they know them on the internet, and both ways. Yeah, in both ways. Like people will be like, "This guy's a piece of shit" because I watched a 30-second clip of him.
Yeah,
and then also there'll be people who are like, "You're the best in the world," and it's sometimes I'm like, people might say something to me, and I'm like, I'm just an average dude.
He's actually an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. You should have seen me screaming at him in the parking lot of Carl's Jr. Yeah. Can't you remember your goddamn lines? Yeah.
Don't make me hit you. It reminded me of growing up with my dad, right?
Yeah, and then it was in the Carl's Jr. just, this burger is fucking raw. No.
No tomatoes.
Yeah, the Carl's Jr. was good.
Yeah, it was good.
I was just doing my Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting actually that you say that, because the whole point of live streaming and podcasting, right? So when we make our content, right, people get to know us through 30 seconds or a minute, up to a minute. They see us, and they base their assumptions or their judgments off of us off of that, right? Mm-hmm. Well, the live stream side of things and the podcast is like, well, I know this guy for 30 seconds to a minute. Go live stream for an hour.
They could use some delay spray.
Yeah, they could use some delay spray. Shit, you should really get to know me for 5 minutes. Yeah. Give it 5 minutes, bro. Like, hey. Right? So like, you get an hour of a podcast or an hour and a half on live, and that takes them and that gets to know you, right? Because like it's hard to hide how much of an asshole you are in an hour. Right, like you really get to see who someone is, right? Especially if they do it every day, right? This is why I stopped doing it, because I don't go live as much anymore because it started to come out, hey, this guy's a dick, right? But no, I've been busy. So, but like for real though, like so you build your following off your videos, you build your community off live stream.
Yes, I totally agree. There are all of the fans who I know by name, and they like know when it's my birthday, and they were gonna like wish me a happy birthday, or like I'm releasing a song and they always send me a message like, proud of you, Shane, love the new song. Those are all people who I connected with through live streaming. And so that's something that like I honestly miss it. It's just like you feel like you get to know people, and it's real. It's really real. And I love meeting new people, and I love when people tell me about their experiences with my videos and stuff.
Hell yeah, man. I've met a lot of cool people, like a lot of other content creators, just from being live. They're like, oh, you're there? Because I always put where I'm live from. Like I work around in the summer. I work on a road crew, and I work in different cities all the time. Mm-hmm. So I always put live streaming from Saskatoon, live streaming from Viking, Alberta, live streaming from Edmonton, live streaming from Fox Creek, live streaming from Fort Mac, live streaming from Humboldt, and like that pushes it out to the people that are in that area. That's cool, right? Yeah, and that's how like it happened this summer. I met a couple people in the Humboldt area that were, I put, hey, I've live streamed from Humboldt. They're like, hey, you're close by me, right? And we started like getting to know each other and whatnot. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then I was in Dawson Creek, BC a couple winters ago on a live from Dawson Creek. Well, I don't know if you know who the Green Ranger is. No. The Green Ranger is a Power Ranger, Shane. Come on now. Okay. But no, like,
that's not a strain of weed.
No. It's funny that you say that, we actually hung out outside the Green Box, which was like, the greenery. So the Green Ranger and I, he's like, hey man, I'm passing by there in like 20 minutes. You want to hang out? And I'm like, man, I got like 20 minutes. I'll hang out with you. Sure, why not? We met up. We hung out for 20 minutes or so. He's a cool guy, right? Yeah. Like, now I know the Green Ranger, right? And lots of other people. Hey man, I'm passing by you, or hey man, I'm in this town right now. Yeah. Let's hang out. And man, that's what saying, hey, I'm in this town and I'm live from here. Yeah. What's up, right? And I've met a lot of cool people doing that, and it's been a lot of fun. And I haven't done it as much in the last couple months, but we'll get back to it. I think
I have an idea that I've had in my head for several years, and I'm just like waiting for it, but I want to say it out loud because I think that that'll help it become true. Is I want some vehicle brand to sponsor me. I want them to give me a brand new vehicle, and I want to spend, I don't know how much time going from coast to coast in Canada and just stopping in different towns and just working on music in every single town and just creating an album as I travel across Canada and just pop through different towns, meet different people, maybe even meet musicians and collaborate with them and just live stream like the whole thing.
Maybe skip like, Winnipeg.
Yeah. No, but did you know what's the Winnipeg used to have a crazy music scene?
Yeah,
like a bunch of big Canadian bands came out of Winnipeg. Yeah,
well,
like, people used to move to Winnipeg, so like, you know, I want to be a rock star. I'm moving to Winnipeg so I can really make it. You
and
know?
Now they're rock stars. You know?
No.
They're very stabby in Winnipeg. But their premier, Wab Canoe, their NDP premier, Wab Canoe, used to be a musician. He's a rapper.
No,
right? Yeah,
no
he's
way.
NDP. He used to be a gangbanger too, right? Like he's been kind of jail.
I need Wab Canoe on a song.
Dude, I'm trying to get Wab Canoe on my podcast. I'm not even a fan of the NDP, but Wab Canoe, like, get him here.
That's a crazy rapper name too. Like if that's just that's incredible.
Yeah. No, Wab Canoe is actually a pretty badass NDP guy. Actually,
that's dope.
He's not your typical NDPer.
Yeah.
And you know, like, I don't want to dive into what I mean by that, but like, he's just not your typical NDP affiliation or whatever the hell you want to call it. Wab Canoe is actually pretty cool. And you know, I'll say it. If Jagmeet was an NDP, I'd be his buddy. You know what I mean? Like, nah, I don't know. Like the way he's like, you see the video of him, like, what'd you say, bro?
I saw that video.
Yo, that's what I thought, because you're a pussy.
Did you see the whole video? Because the guy was like, he just yells something behind his back, and then like Jagmeet stands on business, and I was just like, you know what? Like, I don't. Even my friends who are more left wing don't love Jagmeet Singh. They just like don't see him as like a good fit for leadership.
Yeah.
But I was just like, you know what? As a man, and just watching a video of another man, I can be like, hell yeah! Like if somebody just wants to try to be a punk behind your back, and you just take a minute to just be like, stop treating me with disrespect. Like,
and
I was with it. I was for sure.
Just like, let me run my fingers through your beard, Jagmeet. Yeah, right? Like just admire another man's beard. You can do that and it not be weird, right? Like, can I touch your beard right now?
You can touch my beard.
Like that's not weird, is
it? The fact that you call my beard a beard is a compliment because
it's not weird.
I'm not much of a facial hair person, but I just like decided to let it fly.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy it. With winter coming up, it makes a huge difference. Dude, with the cold weather.
I can only have the beard in the summer, so it does make a huge difference. Well, I'm not allowed to have a beard in the winter.
Right.
So I work on the road crew in the summer, and I grow the beard out. I'm leaving for Fort Mac on Tuesday, so this is my last couple days with the beard.
Damn.
And I'm really sad about it. Don't give it.
Yeah. Okay.
Like just start shaking. Like, the steady Freddy ain't gonna work for that, bro. You know, like there ain't no delay in that shit.
Oh no.
You know? See what I mean, man? We're 38 minutes in. Where did the time go?
That's crazy.
Yeah, we're 38
I feel like we still haven't even done the intro yet.
Wait, we haven't? No, man. Like we're 38 minutes. See what I mean by like how time seems to just like fucking go at warp speed after I talk about big loads and shit. Right? Like it's just how it goes. It's just how it works. And it's wild how the whole thing goes and how you gotta keep that flow going and try not to have too much dead air in there, and you know what I mean? And man, we're coming up on, I think which one? So I think we're 5 weeks. When this episode drops, we're 5 weeks away from episode 100.
Wow.
5 weeks, man.
This is 95?
This will be 95. You were on like 16, 17, something like that. You were back there, man.
Ben, you've been pumping them out.
Once a week. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Once a week.
No, not even the filming of it, but the organizing of it has to be like just lining up guests.
Yeah, and I have two in the library, I guess.
Yeah.
That I probably have enough to get me to episode 100.
Yeah.
But those two I can't put out.
Oh.
3 actually. One of them, okay, you know who Uncle Hack is?
The local
Uncle Hack.
Uncle Hack.
Uncle Hack and was on by himself, and then Dougie Snakes was on by himself. Then I had the two on together.
Yeah.
Those guys are a riot.
Yeah.
Okay, and like if I want to get canceled, I'll post that. But it was live stream. You can find it on YouTube and Facebook. It was live stream.
Yeah.
But like
after those ones, we can come back on. You can tell me everything you think about NDP because you'll
be canceled. Absolutely. So it was live streamed. It's there, and then I have one of a guy who has no legs. He's called the Limb Lost Boss. Check him out on the socials. He can only record at 7 o'clock in the morning my time one day, and I got up slightly late, and he only had a little bit of time.
Yeah.
So we recorded, and this was like 5 months, 6 months ago, and he's like, "Man, hit me back up when we have time and we'll record again." Right. And I was talking to him the other day and trying to get him on, but like he works in the oil field or does something like, I think it's oil field out east, and he has no legs. Like he has these little nubs that he attaches on, but he's been working with a company and he's got like bendable knees and shit now. Right. And he's pretty cool shit, man. We're trying to get him back on. So there's that one. And then I did one. You know who Ice Cube Sandwiches is?
No.
He has like a Justin Trudeau cardboard cutout, and he's like, "Hey, Justin, it's just me again. You know, having an Ice Cube sandwich for dinner because I can't afford anything else." You know, he blew up quick. But like, I gotta get a hold of him because like the audio. Sometimes I was in a hotel with bad service.
Yeah.
The video is definitely shot.
Yeah.
The video sucks. The audio's okay, but like we have to record again unless he thinks it's cool enough, and then I'll just throw it up. But yeah, there's a few there that like, you know, where there I'm sitting on, and then there's one I recorded too that I can't put out because it's conflicting with someone that I work with as a brand. So like it's like all right.
So I have this experience as a musician where sometimes I'm recording and I think I hit this perfect vocal take, and then I look back and either it didn't record or the microphone was off or something. Yeah. And when I was a bit younger, that just crushed me sometimes. Like I'd have to just take a break.
Yeah.
I was wondering if you have had experiences like that with the podcast or with the video where you bang out just like an awesome podcast, and then you're just like, crap, I didn't hit record, or like the mic just sucks. Like, can I post this?
Yeah. So I did a podcast with Leanna a few months back, and a phenomenal woman. The podcast was so good.
Yeah.
She ate fire and everything on my podcast, dude. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah, dude, it was crazy. The audio sucked, dick, on my so my cord on my mic was loose.
Oh, was it coming in and out?
Yeah, and I could hear it in my headset. And if I held it a certain way, it would stay. And then I got some duct tape, and right, and it was all right. Like it sounded really echoey.
Yeah.
And like I was in a empty room because I was. But like so I was in an empty room, and there was a lot of like echo. And I'm like, we can't, there's no way we can re-record that because you're never gonna get what we just did.
Yes.
Right? Like the original take is authentic, and you can't recreate that.
Yeah.
It would sound scripted. Right? I'm like, no. So it's gonna go up the way it goes up. I can hear it, people can hear it. It might just be hard on the ears.
Yeah.
Right. So there's that one. And then Pork Girl Kennedy out of Grand Prairie, the audio was also off. And that's a phenomenal one. And I'm trying to get her back on. She's really busy. And at the beginning, a lot of the episodes in that first like 12 episode span, the audio was shit.
Yeah.
Right before I had a headset and a mic.
But you got to do it. Like you
gotta do it.
You can't wait for it to be perfect.
No,
you got to do it.
Well, I'm blue collar or rough and tumble. Right?
Yeah.
The podcast is blue collar. It's not going to be perfect either.
Yeah.
Right. And so I had to do that. There was very little editing, very little like regard for anything. Right. And it was like, fuck it, throw it up, let's go. And it was right around, I had Ed the Sock on for episode 11, I think it was, or 12. Ed the Sock was on. Yeah. Remember Ed the Sock?
I don't remember.
Hand puppet from Much Music.
Yes.
Yeah, Ed the Sock.
You told me
Ed the Sock was on, and Ed the Sock came on, and I had technical difficulties, and it kicked me out of the room.
Oh.
And I'm like, oh fuck! And it took me like 2 or 3 minutes to get back in there.
Yeah.
And I thought I was gonna have to edit it out.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way there's no way I can't edit this one.
Yeah.
When I listened to it back, Ed realized what had happened, and he picked it up and ran with it. He's like, well, fuck, where's Dick? Where did the dude go? He's not here. Well, I guess this is my show now. And we started talking and asking questions. And I'm like, fuck, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
Right? And so I left it. It was really good. And the banter we had from that, he's like, well, where did you go when I came back? And I told him, I'm like, well, my mom called, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, why is she calling? I'm like, I told her I was busy, but like she just didn't listen. And then the banter back and forth from that was actually pretty cool. But episode 10 had I can't remember his name now, but he rolled across Canada on his trike. His
I know that dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, he reached out to me and asked if I wanted to do like some music for him, and I ended up being busy at the time. But like, no, that was cool. I think he got arrested or something.
In Ontario. He's like, I don't know why, but he didn't have it insured.
Yeah,
like that, and like whatever. It was cool, but it was for a good reason, right?
Yeah.
And I can't remember his name now, but like he was telling me about it, and there was like 5 minutes where like. Again, I got kicked. I got kicked out. I lost my feet, and he's sitting there being like, "Hello, where are you at? Right there. Hello." And like I'm just going, right? And so I learned how to edit. I edited that one out, right? But when I edited it on my computer and I threw it up there, I didn't rename it anything different. So I had the same name as the other one. So I did all that work. I uploaded the one that needed to be edited, and it went out, and it's still that way. I'm just like, you know what? I don't care. It's going out the way it is, and. But yeah, man, the mud man got me this new laptop here, and since then, man, like editing's easy.
Yeah,
editing is so easy. I got to learn how to use GarageBand.
Yeah, for the sound,
for the podcast.
Yeah,
for the sound, for adding music in and stuff like
that.
Yeah.
I could. I mean, we could. I could show you a few things. I'm music.
Of course, you know how to use
the music, man. But I would say. You might be able to do it right in your current software. I don't know if you find the right buttons, but yeah,
I'm good at pushing buttons for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Just ask my wife about that one. I know how to push her buttons.
Hey. The good buttons and the bad.
Yeah,
well, I do have Steady Freddy.
Yeah.
Right?
How is this? Normally when I'm watching a podcast or something and the ad comes on, I'm just like skip. Like the ads are the best part.
Right? We're talking about penis here, right? Like, who wants to skip that? Or right? Like, no, don't skip that. What's happening over here? Right?
You don't want me to spit water all over your new laptop?
Don't spit water on this laptop. It's beautiful. Like, I almost dropped it the other day.
Yeah?
Yeah, I should get a case for it.
Yeah.
But I don't. So, so, yeah, I know what you mean by, like, and same thing when I'm making a video, right? So when I'm lip syncing, because I do a lot of the lip sync shit, or even when I'm talking, right? My wife and a lot of other people call it my TikTok voice. And my voice, I can change it a little bit, and it sounds like, like the way I want to deliver things.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, okay, especially when I'm lip syncing, I'll get the lip sync 100%. I'll be like, fuck yeah, that's awesome. But then I'll be like, well, I'm not wearing my glasses. My hat's on, not the way I want it to be in there.
Yeah.
And then one time I actually drove back an hour back to camp because I made a video and I looked at it. And I'm like, you know what would fix this? And I went back to camp and I grabbed what would fix it. I brought it back and I drove an hour back to the spot.
Yeah.
And then, you know what it was? It was a fruit by the foot. And it was like, yeah, a fruit by the foot would make this better. That's a 2-hour drive. Let's make it better. Right. So like, yeah, man. And it got 3 million views on it. So
all right.
And a lot of people brought up the fruit by the foot, right? A lot. It created engagement.
All right. What was the joke? Run me through the foot.
It was, I could have done it anywhere really, but it was just where I was sitting and how the truck looked. And it was like, I don't know who needs to hear this, but you didn't put the truck. I don't know who needs to hear this. It wasn't your fault you put the truck in the ditch. That ditch wasn't supposed to be there. That ditch went into you.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And
or were you just eating fruit by the foot?
And I was just like, it was dangling and I'm like sucking it up. Right? Like I'm stuck in the ditch right now and I'm just being casual about it. Like, yeah, this happens all the time and I'm just going to continue eating my fruit by the foot.
I miss fruit by the foot. I should pick up some fruit by the foot.
You should.
Yeah.
And there was another one. I was in Hinton and I found a porta potty like 45 minutes outside of Hinton. And I'm like, I got to film here. And then I made the video. I'm like, this is good, but it is missing something. I went 45 minutes back to my hotel room. I grabbed what I don't even remember what it was. I grabbed something, and then I went 45 minutes back to the porta potty. And then I'm like, well, I'm here. I might as well just make a batch of videos, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm fucking here now, right? Like, fuck it. I made like 6 videos and called it a day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do that a lot too. If I've got a good day and I've got ideas, I just keep making videos. And
yeah,
I know it's hard to come up with a new idea every day, but some days you're just funny for some reason.
Yeah, for some reason. That's a childhood trauma. But yeah. No, man. So out of all your songs, I know which one you like a lot, but what was the most fun to make?
What was the song that was the most fun?
Yeah, and not necessarily your best one either, because your best one is Tim's Run, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Tim's Run has a cool story for making it. I was trying to think about like which one was the most fun to make, because like I feel like when I'm making a song, I really just sort of like zone in and like focus. But honestly, the one that I just put out, I'll just talk about it because it's what comes to mind. I remixed Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah.
And for some reason, I got the beat made and I just started coming up with lines. And I don't know if you know the song, like Not Like Us by Kendrick Lamar, but the beat's just so good. So I was just sort of like, walking around my studio, just like feeling good, you know, like sometimes you get the right music on. And I was just like, record something and be like, yeah, and then like I'd record that, and then just like I was feeling good the whole time. Sometimes it's a battle. Sometimes it's a battle when you're trying to record a song and you want it to sound a certain way and it's not quite right. So I take a lot of time sometimes to make a song. Sometimes it's like half an hour and I'm done. But sometimes I try and I have to come back the next day and come back the next week because it's just the vocals aren't quite right. But yeah, that one was really fun. I got a bunch of hate when I posted that song. I had one go like a video go viral. It's like about 1 million on Instagram. And most of the time I don't get much hate on my stuff at all. But in this video, instead of wearing my typical fur hat and like jersey, I have one shot where I'm like shirtless and another shot where I have like a cowboy hat on. So I just think I look extra douchey. And there was just so many people putting just like, I can't believe people actually like this stuff. Like, this is awful. This makes me want to move to America. And then, but it got 1 million views because of these people commenting. So I was just like, thank you.
Thanks for everything.
Yeah. But yeah, I wouldn't quite describe working on music as fun. It's fun the way that like being in an intense like hockey game or volleyball game, if you're an athlete, feels like where it's fun, but you're kind of like doing things. You're not just like giggling, relaxed.
You're putting work.
Sometimes when I'm making a song, I'm just like, okay, what does it need? Does it need is the bass right? Is the like here's the lyrics. Yeah. And then it ends up sounding just like, we're having fun. But then while I'm in the studio, I'm kind of like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you got your like, let's get this shit done face on. I feel like you're in like, fuck yeah mode.
I don't know if everyone can relate to that, but like I hope that everyone has a chance in their life to experience that fun that comes from just like intense focus. Yeah. Almost like you're hunting something. Yeah. Like, or if you're ever playing like tag, freeze tag with or like grounders as a kid.
Tag. Yeah. Oh shit, that's a sport.
I remember getting it when I was playing grounders as a kid, and I would just be like, the guy's about to catch me, and and you like get away, and you're just like, it's a close one, you know? Yeah. That's like, it's so fun, it's intense, and yeah.
I'm also like, I also hope people understand too, right?
Yeah.
Like that same thing about like, you know, get to experience something like that at least once in your life, like you said, you know, because like, man, this is a ride. This is a fun ride. Like, you got to hold on. There's a lot of people that, and I like your analogy of it when you were on Gord's podcast. You know, you're saying like how, you know, there's a lot of people that aren't there with purpose. Yeah. Right? Be here with purpose. You know, and I love that, dude. Like, there's a lot of people that are on social media, on TikTok and Instagram without purpose. purpose, right? They're just scrolling, right? And they're causing drama. There's a lot of drama stars on there, and this is a powerful tool. Like, look at what you've done. Look what I've been able to do on there, and like, we're small time still. Like, you know what I mean? We're small time, and compared to like what Selena Spooky Boo or Call Me Chris has done, right? Have you seen Selena Spooky Boo?
I don't know that. I thought you were making up a name to be totally honest.
Alicia Carvel, and Call Me Chris.
Okay.
Look at Call Me Chris has been able to do. You know who Call Me Chris is?
I don't know.
You know who Call Me Chris
swear
is?
I'm not on social media. I like literally am outside, like sitting in the grass or playing Pokemon.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that was a weird high. That turned into a handhold. There's my kids. Oh, my kids are home. I don't know if you can hear them.
Yeah, it should be. But like I'm not. But to your previous point, I really think that, like, just getting your mind around this idea that life is short. And like, I guess now that I'm almost 30, so it's starting to, like, I'm starting to get to that point where it's like, oh, this doesn't get any easier. Like, life is what it is. There's no big secret here. It's just an opportunity to make choices and have experiences. And when you see it as that, and you see that, like, you have all the power to make your life exactly what you want it to be, but you're going to have to overcome fears, and you're going to have to do things that feel uncomfortable, or you might worry that they'll be unpopular decisions. Those are the types of things that you can not only make a huge difference in your life, but like through social media and these things, these platforms that we've been given, you can inspire other people to maybe like, just like be happier, feel a greater sense of purpose, and like just wake up and choose to be happy. Not violence. Okay, choose violence in the sense of, if anything is getting in the way of me having a good day, then it's got to go.
When I first got on TikTok, I was on TikTok for like 2 years before I realized, I was following a lot of people back out of a twisted sense of loyalty. Right? Like, I met them through another guy that I liked. And they followed me, so I'm like, okay, I gotta follow you back. I have to, right? There's that sense of loyalty.
I get that.
Right. And then it was like, okay, and then when they no longer were of value to me, like they never were of value to me, but like when I realized they were no longer of value, I kept them around with that sense of loyalty, right? Like they were causing me grief or a headache or a heartache for just having them around, right? And I was like, oh man. And then it got to a point where it's like, you no longer make me happy. You no longer bring value to my life. It was then I went heavy on the unfriend block button. And I had to do that for my mental health. Because there's a lot of people that were stirring shit up.
Listen to this.
Trouble, right? So like, you didn't bring value to me, right? You didn't bring happiness to me. I don't want you to suffer in any kind of way. I want you to eat, just not at my table. Right. And I was like, I had to get rid of them for me. Right. And once I did that, their drama and their bullshit on TikTok, on the FYP, was no longer there anymore. And it opened up a whole other avenue of content to come and be on my page. I found so many cool people that I didn't know existed on the FYP once I got rid of people that were no longer bringing me value.
It's crazy how that's a perfect metaphor for how all of life works.
Dude,
like
it's insane.
It's like, if you do not realize how much energy you're putting out into things like that until you like, honestly, I'm going through a phase right now where I'm realizing just how easy things can be in life. If you are willing to be honest and want what you want and go after what you want to go after, because you are allowed to do what's best for you. You're allowed.
No, nothing is stopping
you.
Right? You're stopping you. Right? Don't be your own roadblock. Right? And which is,
here's some math for you.
Okay.
So you're doing something because you don't want to be rude or hurtful or some sort of impact on another person, that you think that if I do this, it will be bad, or I'll be rude or something like that. And you also know that that person is accountable for their own well-being, happiness, etc. And so why do you think that you're so important, that your behavior is what's going to make or break that person? Have trust in these other people, that they're grown-ups. They can handle it. Like, and for me personally, I think for a very long time I was caught up in like these ideas of like the following, like metaphorically unfollowing somebody who isn't good to me. And it's not necessarily a person, it could be a habit, or like a just anything in your life that you might feel like, no, it's wrong for me to let go of that. And it's kind of like, why, like, in what way do you feel like this person or this thing's happiness relies on you? Because it doesn't. You aren't that important. There's a little bit of like narcissism baked into the self-pity. Sure and it's crazy, but it's like, and I feel like that reframe for me was just like, oh yeah, like I need to actually get off my high horse a little bit and be like, yeah.
Actually, like, that's not a high horse. That's Connor McDavid. You'll see what we mean here soon. Yeah, you'll see what we're talking about. But inside joke. Hey-o.
Yeah, that's just something I've been thinking about lately, and it gives yourself permission to like
let go.
Yeah. There's something called like optimistic nihilism. Nihilism is the realization that nothing really matters, but the optimistic part of that is going, oh, nothing matters.
Yeah.
So I am free to play and experience with things the way that I would prefer.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. And you know that plays a lot on people's mental health, right? And
yeah, you got to let go of the baggage.
You got to let go of the baggage. And mental health is huge in that aspect, right? Because that could like really fuck people.
Yeah.
Right? You know where I'm going with it.
Yeah. You know where I'm going with it. I understand the format.
So, yeah, you get it. You slide your puzzle piece over.
Yeah, let me do that right now.
But yeah, like, so the podcast is officially unofficial yet, sponsored by BetterHelp.
That's cool.
Right. And BetterHelp, you know, is virtual therapy. You go online, and if you need to speak to someone, and you know, you can get help, right? There's someone that's willing to listen to you.
Yeah.
Right. There's always someone that's there willing to listen. And I punched up when I went to BetterHelp. I'm like, there's no way my podcast is good enough for BetterHelp to sponsor. But I'm gonna try anyways, because the answer is always no if you don't ask, right? So I punched up, and BetterHelp messaged me back, and they're like, hell yeah. Right. So as of right now, but hopefully by the time this comes out, the podcast will officially be sponsored by BetterHelp, and we're working on a discount code. And you know, like I feel like as a blue collar man and a human being in general who has a platform, if I can give back to my people, my community, I want to give back, especially being blue collar. Right. We don't have a voice for us, really.
Yeah.
Right. We're out there in the field or out there on the construction site. Hold on a sec.
Timing.
Yeah, timing. Perfect. We're out there in the field. We're out there on the construction site, and we're away for 12 plus hours a day. So if you're in the oil field, you're away for a month at a time. And, you know, you're grinding for your loved ones, but you're missing everything. Right. And that plays a huge part of your mental health.
Yeah.
And being in that space, that's my niche. Those are my people. If I can give back to my people, I'm glad I can give back that way.
Yeah.
Right. Because I know I've suffered with mental health, and getting older, realizing that mental health never truly gets better. You just learn to deal with it between the bouts. Right. Like,
there's always an up and down.
There's always an up
you're
and
never
down.
going to only have good days.
You're never going to have good days. You're never only going to have bad days either. Right. Like, your bad day doesn't define your life.
Yeah.
Right? And a lot of people, you know, so I'm glad to give back in that kind of way. Right. If I can get back somehow, I'm glad it's that.
Yeah.
So, you know, the BetterHelp is on the podcast now.
In terms of therapy, I, for a long time, was like, why do I need a therapist? Like, why would I go to a therapist? I'm not actively seeing therapy right now, but I found a therapist that was really good for me. And I feel like she helped me. Like, I made huge strides forward in my career, in my relationships, in my relationship with myself, all thanks to like learning techniques from somebody smarter than me.
Yep.
And the thing that I wanted to say, because like you said, it's a blue collar, like if I need to make sure that my taxes are done really well, I hire an accountant.
Yeah.
If I don't know how to fix something in my truck, I take it to a mechanic. Like, it makes sense. It's obvious in certain ways for us to hire someone who is smarter than us for things like that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to your own brain, sometimes it's like, it's my brain. Like, I should be able to figure this out, you know? Like, for God's sake, it's my brain. Like, you think I don't know about my brain?
Yeah.
But then it's like, you know what? There are people who are well trained in this. They're professionals and they know more than I do.
Yeah.
And I use my brain to make money. I use my, like, it's not just about like your emotions. If you don't want to be in your emotions or whatever, like, I'm just saying, like, sometimes as men, we don't like to talk about our feelings, but it's like your brain does way more than decide whether you feel good or bad that day. Your brain makes you money. Your brain like connects you to the people you love. Your brain like does everything. So
Absolutely.
Like, don't drive your truck without oil in it.
I've done it. I've done it.
How'd it go?
Blew up an engine or two.
Yeah.
Sure. Like, it's happened more than once. I'll tell you that much.
Just like therapy is like an oil change for your brain. Just like flush out some of the crap and like get a fresh oil change, and then you'll just yeah,
man. That's better. I love that. I mean, dude, your analogies about shit, like something else you also said on Gord's podcast, which punched me in the face. Right, like
people in the face with my words.
Dude, I know. Like, I know. Okay, like what you said is, you know, no matter what you decide to be in your life, if you're gonna be a heavy equipment mechanic, you didn't say that. But if you're gonna be a heavy equipment mechanic, be that heavy equipment mechanic. If you're gonna be a stoner on the couch, be a stoner on the couch. Embrace whatever you decide to do.
Yes.
Let people like the trees tree.
Yeah.
Right? Like
the trees, dude.
The trees and the people in. Like, man, I talked to Gord about that podcast afterwards, man. I hit him up and text right away. I think we actually I called him about it. I'm like, man, the people in and the trees tree. Like, bro, that was so intense, right? Like,
I don't know why. Like, I'll just run through it quick again, like right now. But it's like, for some reason, I looked at a tree. I was at a point in my life where I was like, had a lot of self-doubt about who I was and what I wanted to do, and if I was doing things correctly, air quotes. And I just looked at this tree and I'm like, I bet this tree doesn't wake up in the morning and think, I wonder if I should, you know, suck up water and absorb sunlight today. Am I doing it right? Like, no, a tree just is a fucking tree. Like, and it was inspiring to me. I was just like, that's the way that animals, all the other plants and animals, they know what's up. They do their thing. They do what feels right to them. They pick their function and they just do it.
I watched two cougars fucking at the Calgary Zoo right in front of everybody.
What were their names?
Joanne.
Animals. Oh, okay. Like, well, not old ladies.
Right at the Calgary Zoo, right in front of everyone. They didn't care that people were there. They just did it. Right? The cougars cougared.
Yeah.
Right? That was it.
Yeah. And, you know, there's reasons that we have societal, you know.
Yeah, nobody wants to see me doing that. But I mean, like, you know.
But, like, we wipe our butts before we, you know, like, Typhoid Mary was a thing, you know, where people get sick because they didn't have hygiene or whatever. Like, it's good that we have a society.
Why I'm getting over my flu right now?
We shouldn't revert to being wild animals.
Yeah.
But when it comes to life, like, guilt, shame, fear are just getting in the way of like everything. And sometimes that makes life harder for a while, because if you do genuinely just want to lay on the couch and smoke weed and not do anything, you know what? That's probably something that in the long term you're going to want to grow out of. But if you never confront who you really are, and
or you grow your own.
But if you like, I just think of it that way. It's like, honestly, like with people who use drugs, I don't think that drugs change people. I think drugs bring out that side of people that they've been like when we get drinking, sometimes we get talking and we get to being too honest. And it's like, that brings out that honest part of you. And if you do that, maybe through some therapy, bring it back to that, then you can look at that and you can actually change it. If you want to change it, maybe you just want to be a chill dude, and that's what you want to do. But if you're like, you know what, why is it that I just can't get moving? You know, don't fake it. Like, figure it out.
Yeah.
You know, face it head on.
It's like that old saying, you know, sports it builds character.
Yeah.
Sports doesn't build character, right? Sports exposes character.
Yes.
Right? That character was already there.
Yes.
Right? I know exactly what you said, you know, like all that shit is when you're drinking, when you're smoking, right?
Yeah.
That's already there.
Yeah.
Right? You're already a shitty human being, right? Like, you just needed something to lower your inhibitions to be shitty out in public because you were fearful of someone seeing you do that.
No. And now I feel like there's certain things that, like, I think that's just as you get older, you go through different situations. Maybe you're in a bad situation and you get to see how you respond. Like, when shit hits the fan, who am I going to be?
Yeah.
And you don't know until you're there. And that's why I think, like, looking at that sort of darker side of yourself, like, when the people I love need help, am I gonna flake out and every man for themselves, or am I gonna, like, stay and help them? Who am I?
If there's a bomb dropping, I'm fine. Like, I know who I am. Hey, like,
and if that's
you're gonna be in my way,
then be that, you know?
Yeah, be that. Be that person, you know? Like, honestly, like, I think she knows. I think the wife here knows. Like, you know, like, when shit's hitting the fan, bro, like,
but don't be
one of these kids
of,
gotta go. Right? Like, and it's the one that runs slower, you know? Like, and thinks slow, too. Like, I gotta have good thinkers on my side when we're in the apocalypse, right? Can you shoot a gun? Right?
We believe in Charles Darwin in this household. We believe in evolution, the theory of evolution and natural selection.
Yeah, natural selection. Like, you're still shitting your pants. I got no time for that on the road. We're walking. We're gonna be doing a lot of walking. We watched a lot of The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
My daughter's birthday is in 3 weeks. At age 7, they're allowed to go to the Wild West Shooting Center in West End Mall and shoot guns.
Cool.
That's what we're doing for
real guns.
Yeah,
cool.
I don't trust her with a weapon.
Yeah.
But, like, she needs to learn how to use it, right?
Yeah.
Because we're going hunting
for
other people that are trying to hunt us eventually. So, like, and the purge is coming up. So, like, you know, like, I don't want her. Well, maybe I shouldn't let her shoot because she doesn't like me too much.
If she listens to the podcast, if she listens to the podcast, maybe keep it going.
She does. Man, like, they can't sneak shit. I don't get it. My kids want to go on YouTube and watch YouTube shorts and shit. We're like, no, like, YouTube is bad for kids. Bad. They say some shit the last couple years. They're like, where'd you learn that? Oh, YouTube. Like, no, right? And I come downstairs sometimes and they're like, can I watch YouTube? I'm like, no. And then she goes and asks her mom, can I watch YouTube? And I'm like, no. Right? Like, the answer is no. And then I come downstairs and they're still not watching it. And then I'm like, you know, if you just fucking put it on when I was upstairs, I wouldn't know the difference, right? Like, they gotta have it up to volume 90 though. So, like, you know, I don't get it. The TV down here, I'm surprised the speakers still.
You're just trying to teach your kids how to lie, like any good dad would.
Yeah, man. Like, I taught you how to swear. I taught you how to throw a punch at someone's gonads, right? Fucking lie. You don't, like, lie. And when they do something bad.
When they do,
I gotta clean it up. That's a doggy no. Yeah. When they do lie about something, they rat themselves out almost immediately. Like, I did this.
Yeah, where's all this integrity coming from? You must be getting it from your mother because it's not coming from me.
Bro, I got none. I got no integrity and I'm not ashamed about it either. So, like, you know, like, kids, like, I'm not your dad, am I? Like, you, there's a reason why you look different than me, right? Like, you share nothing with me, right? Like, someone else is your dad, and Honest Abe. It's Abe Lincoln, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, nobody's that fucking honest. Nobody's that honest. I don't get it. They are retardedly honest. I should not have said that word. I should not have said that word. I feel so bad.
It's fine. No one cares.
Ever banned.
No. I understand how I think that it's fine to say words that are inappropriate as long as you can articulate the fact that you use words just as words.
Yeah.
And that they don't have the literal meaning that they had from 20 or 30 years ago.
There's a whole race of people that would disagree with you on that.
Language. Yeah, they're called liberals. Am I right? And so I don't want to, because some people I do still think don't understand the implications of what they're saying.
Yeah.
Here's one for you. You know the gay F word that I won't say because you know it's a bit much.
Fruit.
Not that.
Come on, it works.
Yes.
It works.
That we many of us said a lot when we were younger.
Yeah.
So I will say the word now in its original context. The bundle of sticks that was brought together in the town square to burn witches and homosexual people on. It's called a faggot. A faggot is a bundle of sticks. And so if people don't know the origin of that word and are implying that they, and I'm saying it like it's not as the slur,
it's education,
but as the word that means a bundle of sticks used to literally burn people alive. Yeah. So it's like when people say that, it's like, okay, there is a time and a place where I could see a stand-up comedian getting a laugh, especially like a gay person using that word. Yeah. But like if you don't understand the history, it's like you should know that. You know, and it's like it's the same with lots of other inappropriate words. And I did say that, but I want people to know because like
that's very educational.
Yeah, like I'm like a fairly conservative person, but I also like would say that I personally feel at times like I'm not gay, but I am very gender fluid. Yeah. Like I have like longer hair.
You want to kiss me?
I sing.
Is that what you mean?
No.
Holy shit.
But like these are things that I already scrubbed your beard. I saw your leg shaking. But these are the types of things where it's like there's sort of people have an image in their head of what someone who's like gender fluid looks like. Yeah. And I'm not that. So when I talk about these things, it's like, I have lots of gay friends. I also have like I'm not the most manly man. It's just something where it's like I feel passionate about letting people know, just like I don't care what you say, but just like know what you're saying, because sometimes it can be like, oh shit, I didn't know what I was saying.
Yeah. Like, it takes me to another political point, which we're not political, but like, you know, the left has no problem calling everybody that is right wing or slightly even right wing, radical right wing.
Yes.
But they never say that dude's a communist, right? When they're talking about their own side, right? Mm-hmm. And same with the right. The right does it too. Oh, everyone over there is a commie, right? But no one over here is right.
Yeah, right? I really want to promote the idea of having just like discussions that exist outside of all that terminology. I feel like just so many words get thrown around. You're just a this or a that. You're a communist. You're a Nazi. You're a whatever. And it's just like, but what did they do? What are their actions? What is the content of their character? You might call it.
Well, this guy doesn't like his neighbor, and his last name's Milstein. So I mean, like, you know what I mean?
And sometimes I feel like people get so emotional when it comes to political discussions. Like they get their placard out and they're just, this is wrong, but they don't just like sit down and articulate. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you listen to Tom McDonald at all?
I have heard of him. I've seen many memes about him.
Listen to Tom McDonald's music, right? He makes really good music, and he's an independent artist. But record labels came to him, and he's like, "No, fuck that." He makes all his music videos on his own little budget.
Yeah. Right? By the way, if you're a musician, don't get a record label.
Look at okay. So, like, the first time we were talking, right? How did you come up with OGR Scintilla? And you didn't start off as OGR Scintilla. Yeah. You started off as Shane William Kimber, right? Yep. And like, there's something else in there too, isn't there? Shane William Kimber or something else in OGR, or you only have
I do have another name that's called Ursa Horizon that I haven't been making music as much, but whenever I want to make something just like instrumental, sort of like sometimes I make like making very like almost sleepy time music. Yeah. Just like an ambient sort of, you know, something you'd listen to just to fall asleep, basically. Yeah. That's where I release that type of stuff, because I like making that. I just put a bunch of reverb on my guitar and like pluck away.
For me, it's Nickelback. Yeah. So you started off as Shane William Kimber, obviously. Shane William Kimber. And then you moved over here. So like, what kind of music do you make over there? And then how did you get from there to be like, you know what, I want to do this, but keep that, right? You want to still do this stuff. but you want to have the option to pivot and go this way, but under a different name. And how did that start?
It kind of evolved in a funny way because I just was doing Shane William Kimber because I was just like, that's my name. And I want people to know that I'm the one making this art. And then last year of university, 2018, I was just like, I want a new name. I want a fresh start. A lot of my older stuff, it was beautiful and I love it, but it also sounded like shit. And I like want a fresh start. I'd never released anything to Apple Music or whatever. So I came up with Scintilla. That was just a word that means a small spark. And I thought it was a cool word. And my name starts with S, so it just kind of like felt like I want to be this spark of inspiration for people. And it's just a cool word. But then there was someone else named Scintilla. And at the time, I was also starting this little record label called Overgrowth Renaissance, which is since dormant, but I would really love to get back to that place of helping promote small artists who have something to say. And that's like, there's a lot of them. And maybe even content creators. Like, I think that the idea of a music label, but not a label, but for content creators would be like beautiful. You could help each other collaborate. You could help like there's so much opportunity for that stuff. But anyways, the OGR got added to the front of OGR Scintilla from Overgrowth Renaissance. And then that was just my name moving forward. And I was releasing like lots of hip hop and covers. And then I found out about TikTok in 2019. Just started making a post every single day and came across just like I was making things that were mainly funny but music related. So I made a parody about Canadian music. Like I just took a popular song and I made the words Canadian themed and it blew up. And so I just went with it and people loved it. And OGR Scintilla has sort of become Parody Man, which is great because that's like my stage name almost.
Yeah.
And then Shane William Kimber, I still release more like just personal music. A lot of it is singer-songwritery. Some of it has a little bit of a hip hop or indie rock flair to it.
Casey and I were listening to it last night.
Cool. Yeah. Thanks.
She's like, who's this guy? I'm like, this Tim's Run guy.
Yeah.
And then this too, right?
Yeah.
And she's like, that's him too?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah.
And I am feeling, I've got so many good songs written that I'm excited to release.
Yeah.
And I want people to see that because I think that so many times we sort of talked about how you get an image of someone in your mind based on their social media presence and you kind of think that that's who they are.
Yeah.
But I also like write a lot of songs to help me process my negative emotions. I'm not always smiling and riding a snowmobile and drinking Timmy's.
Yeah.
I'm a human. And I think that people need to just be made aware of that, especially young people who I don't think are necessarily getting that education from their parents to be like, just so you know, everything you see on your phone is for entertainment to make you watch it more.
Yeah.
These aren't real people. And it's not that they're like evil people. It's just that they're only showing you a fraction of their personality and their life.
Yeah. Well, look what you're saying here, right? We're live streaming over on TikTok. There's 2 people in here. There's 5 people over there. And there's none over here on the thing, right? If we were doing something for like, if we weren't being real people, and we were like, you know, not trying to do a podcast where, but we were doing something stupid and entertaining.
Yeah.
How many people do you think would be in there watching? Because the FYP would push it. TikTok would push it because it's not, it doesn't appear to be boring.
Yeah.
This is 2 guys talking. It's not boring.
Mm-hmm.
But TikTok is like, you don't want to see this.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not doing something, you know, we're not stabbing each other in the neck. Well,
I did a live stream one time where I just had this jug of iced tea. And it was like every time we get another 1,000 likes on the live stream, I'll take a shot of maple syrup.
Oh.
I just would fill it off screen and then, whoa, I'm drinking so much syrup. And like all my fans knew it was fake, but there were people who were like, that's not real, is it? And it was getting tons of views and tons of stuff. And it's like, yeah, people act crazy. The thing that worries me, it's like, I'm fine with entertainment. It's just that I don't want people to think, oh man, my life here in wherever Edmonton, Alberta is so boring. When I go on TikTok and see people in Los Angeles, they're at these parties and they're out and about and they're well dressed and they're laughing and they're having fun and they're also good looking. But it's like, if you go to that city, you're going to see homeless people, you're going to see average looking people, you're going to see people working their regular jobs. And it's like, someone who lives in small town Alberta might feel the same way about Edmonton. Oh, you know, I saw these videos from the Oilers game last night. If only I lived in Edmonton, then my life would be good.
Yeah.
And that's just bullshit. Your life is, no matter where you go, you are where you are.
Yeah.
That's, I forget who said that. A quote from, I think, like Yogi Berra or something, like one of those old guys who just like gave great quotes.
It is
like,
what it is, because that's what it is.
Yeah.
And Yogi Berra says that.
Yeah, no matter where you go, there you are.
Yeah.
And it's like, you are always in the center of your experience, picking if you want today to be a good day or a bad day, and making the best of it, making the worst of it.
Yeah.
So that to me is like this fundamental illusion that I think can be very toxic for people's minds. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Like, you see, I went to LA. Right. And, you know, you see LA and you see the Hollywood side, and you see Hollywood Boulevard, and you see movie stars and beautiful women everywhere. Well, when I went to LA, I saw like smog and homeless people. And I did get swindled out of $20 from a guy in a Spider-Man costume. And I definitely smelled garbage. And you know, like LA was like, oh yeah, this is LA, cool, can't wait to go somewhere else. Right. And Florida, you know, Florida is great, but outside of Miami, like, and Orlando, I guess,
even Miami's just a city, you know.
Miami's actually really small.
Yeah.
You know, like, I saw P. Diddy's house. Now, I don't think he's home now.
Ain't no party like a P. Diddy party. We are really getting canceled.
How old are you?
Yeah.
No, I saw his yacht outside. I don't think anybody's home right now, but like, he was there at the time.
Did you knock? No.
I didn't have a beard. I looked pretty young. He might have let me in.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. But yeah, no, and you know, go places like that. And you know, and then when you come home, there's a reason why when you go on vacation somewhere, you pick like these like destinations that like people desire, right?
Yeah.
And then there's also a reason when that vacation's over, it always feels so fucking good to come home.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're just like, yeah, I went to that place. It was so awesome, and I saw what I saw. But you know, now I'm at home, and it's not the most desirable place, but like, neither is that. You ask the locals that live there how they feel about it. I lived in Banff for a little bit.
Yeah.
Right? I lived in Banff for a little bit. I fucking hated that place. Fuck Banff, you know? I bet you, yeah.
People who live in Banff feel that way.
Yeah,
I've met people who live in Banff.
They do. They're like, fuck this place. You know, like, fuck this place. No. It's like that everywhere you go. Just love what you got and what you were given, you know? Like, play the cards you were dealt.
Lately, I've gotten really into journaling, and I've learned some journaling exercises to, like, just at the start of the day, just like, what am I going to do? What's my intention? Am I going to have a great day? Kind of set your mind right. Yeah. Because I've traveled a lot in the last year. I went to like Thailand. I was in Bali in Indonesia. I was in Hong Kong. I was in like all over Europe. I went to the States. I went to Atlanta, Chicago, New York, Miami, several places. Like, I've been to a lot of cities, and they're all just cities, but you're always, no matter where you go, you take your brain with you. Yeah. And it's like, your brain is like what makes or breaks all of your experiences. So if you just like, I don't particularly love it. I know it's fine when people, and it's hypocritical because I love to travel, but like, some people use travel as almost like their mental health medicine or something. And I do think that money could be better spent maybe on like
mental health,
some life coaching. Yeah. Like, and you need to find the right therapist. It can be really hard to find one that clicks with you. But
Jack
like,
Daniels.
He always listens.
Yeah.
No, but if you can tweak some things in your brain, like, then whether you're at home or you're traveling, whatever, it just enhances your experience. And I don't, escapism's great. You know, getting a break from your regular life, like, there's always things that get us down, but like, if you're relying on that, that's a dangerous place to be, because you know, you and it's not as fun. Wouldn't you rather just hop out of bed and be like, fuck yeah, I get to like go be the best heavy duty mechanic today. Like, I'm gonna fix some problems. Like, somebody's got a problem, they're stressed out, you know, or I've got a job, like, we're gonna we're going to make a corporation a bunch of money today.
Fuck yeah. You know what?
And I'm going to make myself money.
Get richer, and I'm going to go get poor. Fuck yeah.
No, but it's like, you can always, like, obviously there's people at the top of our society that, like, have got it good. And
they've also worked hard for that.
Many of them. Yeah.
Some of them are ball lickers, but like,
yeah,
you know, a lot of them have worked hard for that.
Yeah. And it's like, I think the thing that I like to talk about when it comes to ultra rich people is to say, like, why don't you just want that for yourself? Like, you don't have to be at the bottom pouting about the people above you. You can become that person who has a great idea.
Yeah.
Who hires some employees and starts a business, or even just like, or just go, yeah, good for them. I hope their yachts make them happy.
Well,
I'm happy playing Pokemon in my basement. I'm genuinely happy. You know, like, you don't have to compare yourself to other people.
Well, Gord, we always talk about Gord. I always talk about him on the podcast, and you were on his. And shout out to Gord, right? That guy's giving me some hearty advice, right? And so Gordon and I were talking about this, but I also made a video about this. Some guy commented on my video there. It's like, now there's a guy who's happy just, you know, being a wage slave and not moving up and whatnot. And, he, you know, corporations are taking advantage of him and, you know, yada, yada, yada. And Gordon and I talked about this. Gord was swinging from a derrick at 20 years old, oil derrick. And he was cleaning the side of it, and he was looking in the window at the consultant shack. Consultant had his feet up, having a coffee, watching the hockey game. He's like, I want that guy's job. At 2 a.m, I'm out here in -40, swinging 100 feet in the air, and that guy there is got his feet up. He's like, all right. It's like, I want that guy's job. Gord worked his way up, and he had that guy's job. And he realized the guy who had life by the balls was the guy swinging from the derrick. Yeah. Right? And you know, the guy above that guy, he's like, man, I was there. He's like, I can't go out to dinner with my family without the phone ringing. I can't go and enjoy a meal out with my family because everything that happens out on site has to run through me. It has to happen. If something goes wrong, if someone dies on site, gets hurt or whatever, my phone rings. Right? The derrick hand or the roughnecker or whatever, the driller, he goes back to his room at the end of the night. The phone doesn't ring. Nobody gives a fuck that he exists. For 12 hours, he goes and does whatever he wants.
Absolutely. Yeah. That is that's really wise. And I hope that, like, I don't know if a young person can get it. Like, I think to a certain extent you have to get older and you have to see it with your own eyes. But I still hope that young people hear us when we say, you
lift with your back.
Live with your back. No, I've got a fucked up back too. Yeah. Lift with your bag. If anybody tells you nothing good happens after 3 a.m., they're lame. They're lame. Like, I've had a lot of fun after 3 a.m.
I've had a lot of fun after fucking 10 p.m. You know what I mean?
And if you enjoy it, if it feels good, then it is good. Within reason. Don't murder people. You know?
Or do. I mean, like, if it feels good, it feels good. You know
but I mean, in terms of, like, don't compare yourself to other people. I was a lifeguard for a lot of years, getting paid minimum wage.
You got to give mouth to mouth to beautiful women, dude. Like,
you watch way too much TV. I saved one kid.
And I hope you didn't give mouth to mouth. Like, nope. We're not doing the Diddy shit here.
No, this was not in Miami. This was in Oyen, Alberta. And it was this little kid. I knew they needed a life jacket. It was like at a busy pool rental. For a school. It was like one of the elementary schools over there. I knew this kid couldn't swim. And he just comes running over to the deep end, gets up on the dive board. I forget his name. I'll call him Bob because I know Bob, I know you can't swim. You need to go get your life jacket on. Don't jump in the pool. And he looks at me. He just jumps right in there. I'm just like, this little bastard. I walk over and I jump in. I grab him. And then I pull him over and he wasn't drowning at all, but he just couldn't swim. And then he just goes, oh, thanks. And he goes to run off and go swimming again. I was like, oh, no, you don't. You're coming to the pool office with me. We're filling out an incident report. You are getting this life jacket on. You are not taking it off until we're done. So that's about the most glamorous rescue I had as a lifeguard. Other than that, you're mainly a janitor who gets to tan for 20 minutes every hour. Yeah. So it's a pretty good gig. I loved it though. Like my favorite job was the bottom of the pool would get dirty. There's this big vacuum and you just got to go out there, rip your shirt off, tan for an hour or two, and just suck up.
Did you know lifeguarding is like a legit sport?
I've seen
it is a legit sport.
Yeah.
You need, there's tickets, there's advanced levels where people go off to learn. There's schools and shit like that.
Yeah.
There's a girl on TikTok, her name's Jen. She lives in Calgary, and we're friends. And her son is a professional lifeguard, and he goes and competes in lifeguard competitions. And like, you can go to school, and you could go to like events, like lifeguarding events.
Like the firefighters who compete. Like, have you ever seen the firefighter games where they do like games? Yeah. It's like they'll like climb up the ladder super fast and like do stuff like that.
Yeah, I watched.
Kind of like, have you ever seen the lifeguard games? Like,
yeah, last summer I think the women firefighters had firefighter games in Banff and set Banff on fire.
They better not got any medals. Nobody's getting medals this year.
Banff is shit. They all got gold medals, right? Like,
there's a quote from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Do you ever see that show?
I've watched like a couple.
There's the one episode where the one character who really idolizes her boss is getting mentored by like Holt. I forget is his name, and he's just giving her this list of advice, and he just is like, never do this, never do this, never do this, and never go to Banff. And it's just like, I just died laughing because I was like, I don't know how many people are gonna get how funny that is, but like if you're from Alberta, you know that there's so many other basically exactly the same but less crowded, less touristy. Like it's
way less crowded.
Like there's all these better towns to go to than Banff, but
nobody's
people just
there
know.
right now either.
Yeah,
it's a good place to go.
I was shocked at how famous Banff is. It's kind of like
garbage.
But like you meet people from other parts of the world, and if I'm from Alberta, and they're like, oh, that's where Banff is.
Yeah,
that's one of the things that we're known for. I was just like, oh. Oh no,
man, I like Jasper like 100 times better.
Yeah,
Jasper is way less crowded and the sites are better and there's way more wildlife.
Yeah,
right. And I heard the housing market there is on fire. Right, like it's pretty good. Like you know, and then you got Waterton. Right, Waterton's pretty good. That's your neck of the woods, closer to your neck of the woods.
Yeah, I guess that's like but I'm pretty close to the Saskatchewan border, so it's like it's. I guess everything's far from me. It's
you said Oyen, eh?
Oyen.
I stayed in Oyen a couple years ago for work. Oh geez, I was looking. This was on my Facebook on this day a couple of days ago actually. I tore up the old train tracks running from Oyen to Youngstown.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. And that took a few months, man. It was a fun job, man.
Yeah.
It was a really good job. Shitty pay looking back at it for what it was. Yeah. But like I got to operate equipment doing that job because one of the guys stole the boss's truck in the middle of the night and fucked all the way off. He was an equipment operator. I just happened to be standing next to the boss and he was like, oh my God, who's gonna run this? You, right? Just geographical
proximity.
Yeah. Just like, hey man, that's how I got my heavy equipment started. Just being geographically in the right spot.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And I stayed
lesson in that too.
Yeah.
Where did you stay?
I stayed at the Antelope Inn.
Yep.
And the Asians there were so nice. They left me chocolate bars on my pillow every other day. And then right across from there is the mini motel.
Yes.
And then down the street's another mini motel.
Yeah.
Right. And Oyen, man, I stayed there for a good couple of months, dude. And like Oyen's actually a nice little spot. And anytime I'm on my way home from Saskatchewan or anywhere down south, I always make it a point to pass through Oyen.
Cool.
Right? It's not nauseating. Oh god,
Oyen can be
nostalgic. It's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Oyen's nostalgic for me because it's almost in a way, I think it is the first job I got working away from home.
That's cool.
Right. So it was like, oh, I'm going to Oyen, Alberta. Where the fuck is this? And I lived in Saskatoon at the time.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm off to Oyen, right? And so every chance I get, I pass through Oyen. And what a spot.
That's cool. That's cool. Oyen's, it's got like a golf course and a swimming pool and like like a hockey rink. They've got a men's hockey team. They've got a curling rink. Like there's a few things to do in Oyen. It's not a bad place to live.
With the most cows I've ever seen.
Yeah, we got cows.
We got lots of fucking cows. That's for sure.
We've got there's like randomly a really good tattoo artist lives in Oyen. There's like a town of 1,000 people, but like I've gotten not this one, but my chest, my shoulder, like a lot of my like there's stuff annoying, even though there shouldn't be. Like it's 1,000 people, maybe 1,200. So it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
There was a bunch of kids we were working around Oyen, and they were farm kids. And they were like 14, 15 years old, driving daddy's truck around, obviously. And they were taunting us, right? And there were some big boys on the crew, right?
Yeah.
And the one guy was getting really pissed off. He's like, I don't want to hit kids, but right. And the RCMP got involved because they said some shit. They were doing some shit. They were tampering with some of our equipment. And the RCMP, he's like, I know who they are. He brings them over to the hotel afterwards, and he brings us all outside. We're all sitting around. He's like, you guys see these boys here? Like, there's some big dudes here. I wouldn't want to fuck with them. And I'm just like, don't count me in that. Because like I'm your height. You know, like, don't just leave me alone. Okay. Like, don't play with me. Don't torment me.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'm small. You're gonna hurt me. Right.
Yeah.
But these boys, you know, it was shortly after that I got duct taped to a pole. So yeah, it was a good time. Yeah.
Yeah, small town's cool. It's nice out there. Yeah. Shout out Oyen.
Shout out to Oyen, man.
Shout out to Oyen, Alberta.
I guess, where do you see this going? Like the OGR Scintilla, like, you know, it goes further back than Tim's run, but like if you could pinpoint a moment on the map where it started, it would be there.
I would say there's different milestones.
Yeah.
Like there's different moments. Like even when I was in university, there was me and my one buddy organized this little rap show at one of the clubs, and like everyone came out. There was probably like 200 people there watching us rap, and that was a moment where I was like, we can get on the horn and we can like get people together. We can make stuff. That's like cool.
B-Rabbit.
Yeah, you know, it's just like you can just do stuff. And then later on, I mean, with TikTok, it was like that first video that went like even a little bit viral, and I went from 3,000 to 40,000 followers over the course of 3 days.
Yeah.
And I was just like, okay, these stories you hear about just an average person, in the back of my mind, I'm like, is that all just like, you know, industry, you know, is that all smoke and mirrors? Do people actually go viral? Because I didn't really know anyone who had done it. But I was like, okay, this can actually happen. And then
you gotta spit on that thing and give it a hug too. You know? Fuck it.
Don't lower yourself to that. And then the next thing was Pavel Barber following me.
Yeah.
Hockey guy, and
Beer
making what?
Is it Barber or Beer?
Barber.
Okay.
Pavel Barber. Making, I don't know, he says Barber, I think. Hopefully. That's how I say it in the song. So yeah.
Is he Russian?
I don't know.
Oh yeah.
But making that song for him and having people be like, oh whoa, like this guy's but yeah, Tim's run is definitely a whole other level of like, I think Tim's run is where I wasn't just like a guy trying to be an internet personality. That's where people started to see me as like more than a person, if that makes sense. Like people were like, that's the Tim's run guy.
Yeah.
Oh, I love his videos, saying things like that, as opposed to just like, oh, there's this guy who's like, you know, making these funny videos that are kind of cool or whatever. It's like now people see me as like, oh, you're that Canadian remix guy. Okay, yeah. And you keep hitting milestones like that, but yeah, in terms of where it's going in the future, hopefully I just get to have conversations with more dudes in their basements.
Fuck yeah, sitting on the casting couch. For anyone that doesn't know that's come in, yes. I hope no couch is as comfortable as this one. This is pretty new.
Yeah.
Like I just got this for 60% off.
Yeah, I'm just hoping I get to go to random people's houses and have conversations with them in their basements.
Don't smell that pillow, by the way. And it might feel a little bit firm. It's firm because it's full of bodily fluids. Steady Freddy, you know, came in handy.
Prodigy. And thanks to this new laptop.
Yeah,
you can watch as much.
Yeah.
No.
But for anybody that doesn't know, man, this is my second ever in-person podcast. And they said when you do this, it changes the game. You want to do more. And they were right. Right? Like there's just a better vibe.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, you know, it is fun, man. It is a lot of fun. Last time I had some alcohol. alcohol, but the water's good. And there's suckers last time. Sorry, I can go grab them if you want.
Suckers.
Do
you have any fruit by the foot?
I got a foot long that's fruity. If you.
I would have a sucker afterward. I'm not gonna lie, but you don't have to leave. You don't have to leave. Yeah.
All right, but no, man, and they said it was going to change the game, man, and it absolutely did. But we're live streaming it on YouTube at Dick Frost. We're live streaming it on Twitch at On the Throne Podcast. We're live streaming it on OGR's TikTok channel. We're live streaming it on the Throne Podcast TikTok channel over here. We're over there. We're over there. We're over there. We're over here. We're everywhere. We're both right here too.
Yeah.
Right. And man, I've never done the live stream of the podcast on live stream, and that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. You were talking milestones.
Yeah.
This is a milestone.
Absolutely,
right?
Dude. Yeah.
We're episode 95. This will be 95. We're 5 episodes away from another milestone.
Yeah.
Getting BetterHelp to sponsor the podcast is a milestone.
Yeah.
Getting Steady Freddy to, stop the premature ejaculations is a milestone. Getting the laptop is a milestone. You know what I mean, man? We're hitting milestones all the time.
Yes.
We're inviting the opportunity by being in this space.
Absolutely.
Right? If you're like, oh, I wish I could do that, you can. Do it.
Absolutely.
Do it.
Yeah. I remember from a young age, I had this pet peeve of people saying, I wish I could.
Yeah.
I was just like, why do you say that? Why don't you think you're more badass than you are? You know that you could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hell yeah. And, like you said, at a certain point, once you believe, it stops. There's still milestones, but it's not you're not so surprised. You believe in yourself, I guess, after you accumulate enough milestones, and that's just maybe getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
It takes some time and some work, but you're just I can do this. I've done it before, so why can't I hit another milestone again?
Yeah. See this? We're an hour and 45 minutes in, dude.
That's crazy.
Sometimes, like I said, you get 5 minutes in, and you're just this
is a viscous episode.
This is a viscous episode, bro.
Thick,
it's thick, boy. Shout out to the Mudman again. This is thick, viscous. And yeah, man, it's been an incredible ride, dude. I'm having a lot of fun, and it's only getting more fun.
Yeah.
But you saw the album art. I showed you the new album art for it. My boss told me, hey, you gotta go over there and do this over here. And when he got there was a toilet sitting next to a mustard. He's like, if you don't do something with that for your content or whatever, you're fired. So I'm like, okay. So I did it. And then my wife is like, hey, you got to pull your pants down for that. If you don't pull your pants down for that, I'm like, the highway's right there. She's like, pull your fucking pants down, right?
Yeah.
Pull them down. And
it was the right call.
It was the right call.
Mm-hmm.
I don't say that often. Don't let her know that she's right about some shit. Okay, I don't need that.
You have some really funny boxers on too in the photo too.
Yeah,
they're almost like the classic white boxers with little red hearts that someone would be wearing, but it's not quite that, but it's they're really funny. It's the perfect underwear for the day.
Yeah, it was great, and it was by accident too, which was awesome.
Absolutely.
And then I sat there. I posted the video online, and then I took a screenshot of me sitting on the toilet, and I posted it online, and then someone messaged me back an hour or so later with On the Throne with Dick and a parental advisory thing on the bottom, and they put it all black and white except for me, and they're like, your new cover art for the podcast, and I'm like, bro, the podcast just evolved.
Yeah.
Right. And with that, because in the video I'm like, I'm just trying to take my morning dookie. I was talking with Gordon. Gordon's like, if you don't start a short segment daily for the podcast, that's 20 minutes long. It doesn't have to be 20, it could be 10 minutes long, where you put out a little update about your day, or you give advice, or once a week you talk about, on Wednesday, you talk about the podcast that just happened on Tuesday, and on Friday you talk about the upcoming podcast, and call it the Morning Dookie with Dick or whatever.
Yeah.
You're failing at this.
I think that it could be 1 to 2 minutes, honestly. Yeah. I think it could be set up the phone and just hey guys, I've got to let loose my morning dookie or whatever. I'm trying to think of that way, but I need to lighten the load here. Get something. I don't want to say get off my chest because that's not poop related.
Well, but it could be. You've seen Team America, right? Team America World Police.
Yes.
If you tell me you'll never leave me, I'll let you shit on. I'll sleep with you right now. And she's like, I promise you, I will never leave you. They start fucking, and then like one of the scenes, she's shitting on his chest. Fucking dolls.
Hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother.
America.
That's some of that freedom. Kiss your sister, shoot a bald eagle out of the sky, shit on someone's chest. America.
Yeah, man. What were we talking about?
Make it 1 to 2 minutes.
No, 1 to 2. Yeah, I was just thinking because like we were talking about how the first few episodes, you know, the audio quality was shit or whatever. Yeah. It's just like maybe the morning dookie, you know, maybe you shouldn't break form. Take your dookie in the way that feels right for you. You know, like if it's rough, if it's tumble, then like just let the dookie flow.
Yeah, you know what? And we have
whatever feels good.
Yeah, and as you know, the bathroom etiquette of your house. If it's brown, flush it down. If it's yellow, let it mellow.
Yeah.
If it's something you can't control, flush it down. Right? It's yellow, let it mellow.
I've got one for you. My grandpa used to tell me this. Okay. In life, there's 2 levers.
Okay.
At first you pull lever A. If lever A doesn't work, you just gotta lever B.
I like that one. Good one. We just fisted each other again. There's a lot of fisting going on here.
Which sponsor?
Well,
do they do lubricants as well?
Usually like a hand puppet, you know? Oh God. Oh man, I don't want to keep you too long, brother. I know you got
what time
plans.
is it? Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. It is. Someone want to tell us what time it is?
That's all good. All our phones are doing
Can we do a podcast? We're sitting on toilets.
We got 5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Okay, we got 5:30. Let's do this thing, brother.
Yeah.
All right, man. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah.
You know, you got things to do tonight. You're going to Dedmonton, you said?
Yep.
Man, it's been a long time. Good for you. But you know, I like to wrap the show up with one last question, and that I think I asked you on the last one. I don't know if it started it yet. So Mount Rushmore has 4 of the most influential people on it, right? Depending on who you ask. And you know, if you could have your own Mount Rushmore, 4 people that you look up to, inspired to be, or that inspired you, who would they be and why?
That's a good question. I think that I want to go with like sort of the eras of my life.
Ooh, like Taylor Swift. Gotcha. Let's do this. Let's do this.
So
she's a shitty human being, but all right.
First one, Taylor Swift. No. First one would be Dallas Green. People know him as City and Color.
I have met his wife.
Or the lead singer of Alexis on Fire. She hosted
YTV.
Yeah.
Much Music.
Cool.
Was it YTV?
I think she hosted like either So You Think You Can Dance Canada or like Canadian Idol, one of the two as well.
Yeah, and she was also on Much Music back in the day as a VJ.
Cool.
Because 2013, I remember when it was. It was May 2013. I was at the Leafs watch party in the Square, Game 1, Boston Bruins versus the Leafs, and first time the Leafs made the playoffs in 9 years.
Yeah.
And Dallas Green was playing. Right?
Oh, nice.
Dallas Green was playing that little halftime thing, and my wife was sitting there. She looks behind her. She's like, "Hey, Liam Miller's behind us."
Yeah, that's her name.
I look behind me. I'm like, "Fuck, it's Liam Miller." She looks like Topanga.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, "Fucking Liam Miller." She's like, "Just leave her be." I'm like, "That's not my style." Right?
Hey, I know you.
Remember Cabby? Remember Cabby on the street?
No.
You don't remember Cabby? You know who Darren Jones is? Beaver on my balls.
No.
You don't remember who Darren? I met all 3 of those people that day.
Oh, that's.
I went and bothered Leah Miller, and I got a picture with her. I'm like, fucking Leah, right?
Yeah.
So sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, all good. Yeah, just a really inspiring singer who got me into music, and second one I would put Tyler the Creator. Because Tyler the Creator was, again, like I just discovered his music around college era, got me into hip hop, got me into battery. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you can hit that low battery for me. And then Tyler is a very loud, noisy personality, and it was inspiring to help me just like be myself, be funny, be weird. And I also have a sort of a deeper voice. And up until then, have you ever driven a Ford F-150?
Oh my God. Where's that delay spray?
Delay spray feels like driving a Ford F-150. followed by a flock of bald eagles as you shit on somebody's chest, America. But yeah, just like I also saw this person who was very popular with a very deep voice, and I was just like, okay, I don't have to pretend to have a high voice. I can sing in a deeper voice.
Yeah.
Third, I'm going to go with this random dude who did like workout content on YouTube called Elliot Hulse.
Okay.
Because I watched his videos a lot. It taught me how to like stretch. He did things on meditation. He did things
watching
on like,
his muscles
on
the video.
I wanted to get bigger muscles because I was a volleyball player.
Okay, yeah.
And I was like, it was very inspiring to just like, it was this dude who was very just like, you know, like masculine sports energy, but he was also like stretching and doing yoga and these things. And I was like, okay, like it's okay to just like, you know, it taught me a lot about that. And I feel like through exercise and sports, I just like learned a lot about life.
Yeah.
And then fourth, I'll just put it like a combination of like my mom and dad. I don't know, like they can't not be on the mountain because they're just incredible parents.
They're rock hard on the mountain. I don't know.
I'm gonna go with that because there's been so many influential people in my life.
Yeah.
Shout out to my junior high social studies teacher, Mr. Jeff Hunter. He's a dope dude.
5th runner up.
Yeah, 5th runner up. Some days he'd be on there. He was just a hard ass in class, but he was like forced you to have an opinion. He's like, this is going on in the world. What do you think about it? And he'd go to people and ask them. And it was like, I just learned how to think for myself. I wasn't just like scared in class or whatever, sitting back. It's like, and I learned how to think. There's a million people that are so influential, but yeah, I'll go with that.
Do you know anything about Mount Rushmore?
I know that there's 4 presidents on it, and that probably a lot of people died making it.
So the guy who made it, right? When you go there, it's actually really small. Right?
Oh,
like it looks pretty big, but like there's room for more, right?
Oh.
And the reason for that is the guy who made it went off to fight in World War II, or was it World War One? It was a World War.
Yeah,
I don't know which one.
Yeah.
Either way, so like it was either World War One or World War II, and he went. I'll look that up later and I'll correct it. But after one of the World Wars, he went off to fight, and he died.
Yeah,
he didn't come back, obviously.
Yeah,
or he did in a box. And his son was like, "All right. Well, now it's up to me, right?" And his son had determined nobody since anybody that's been put up there, and nobody,
So they would add more.
They would, but like nobody fits the bill.
That's hilarious.
There's nobody good enough to fit the bill.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool. I did not know that. That's a really cool fun fact. I'm gonna tell people that.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's pretty neat, actually. And I don't know if you know who Chase Barber is, but Chase Barber has Edison Motors, and he does the hybrid electric trucks and stuff like that. He's all over. You don't watch TikTok.
I don't do things.
I
think my feed is just really degenerate. I think I just like get sports highlights.
You're on Nub Talk. If you're not on Nub Talk, Nub Talk, you need to get on Nub Talk. It's people missing arms and legs and fingers and stuff that do really cool things with their neighbors.
Mine is mainly just like people hitting holes in one, or like on a golf course, or like I don't know, just like clips from a movie, just like just the odd like brain rot thing of just like somebody doing something stupid on TikTok.
We're gonna change that. I'm gonna send you a whole bunch of things. You're just gonna watch them all, and you're gonna like them. And you're gonna repost them, and then you're gonna get more of it.
All right,
buddy. Hey, man, thanks for coming on, man. Again. Thanks for coming on again. Thanks for being a part of this ride. Thanks for being near the beginning when the show was dog shit.
Yeah.
It might still be dog shit. I don't know. I don't know. But like, so thanks for being at the beginning, when we hadn't really perfected anything and we were just getting into it. And thanks for being here, when we've got actual equipment and we've got sponsors and actual listeners. And
I'm proud of you, dude.
Thanks,
like,
man.
I feel like a lot of people. I've been on a lot of people's podcasts who quit after 30 or 40 episodes.
Yeah. So here's a stat for you.
Yeah.
The 99% of podcasts don't make it past episode 20.
Yeah.
Right? It's a lot of work, and they're not seeing the results they want to right away. So I heard something like there was 3 million people who started a podcast last year.
Wow.
Right? 3 million podcasts started. Out of that, I think only like 200,000 remained. And then out of that, there's only like 100 and some odd thousand that actually like stay consistent with it. So a lot of people started, and I looked that number up, 3 million podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay. here's something. You're not competing with the 3 million. You're competing with the 100 and some odd thousand that's stuck with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the competition pool is actually not as much as you think it is.
Yeah.
And it's not hard to put out something good. Dude, I'm telling you, like, put out the podcast. If you want to start a podcast, put it out. Tour the fuck out of it. Like, there are so many other podcasters on Twitter that you have no idea about. I ran into one, Rita Fieldman or something like that. Rena Friedman. I asked her to come on my podcast. I listened to her podcast because she's a Jerry Springer Show producer. Was a Jerry Springer Show producer, and she had a podcast. I wanted to be on hers. And she was on mine. This is where it got interesting. She lived in Texas. Her husband was in oil and gas.
Yeah.
Now he's in aerospace. She was going to have lunch with someone that has from the OGGN or OGN or whatever, the oil and gas network, right? Who now knows about me because I reached out to someone that wasn't in my niche.
And
then, the Old Man's podcast. It's just a cool podcast to like listening to. He's a non-destructive testing. That's what he does. He's in NDT pipeline.
Yeah.
Who knew? And then, Instagram has a whole bunch. TikTok has a whole bunch. Facebook has a fuck ton of podcast groups. You go on there, you post your podcast on there, and you watch your shit grow. Man, dude, it's that easy. It's that easy, man. Like, it's not hard. Well, I work over 100 hours a week. I put in a stupid amount of hours into this. On top of that is and content and my family and whatnot, and I make it work. Yeah, right? There's lots of time out there.
I've seen lots of people. Yeah, like, it's hard to work 150 hours a week. It's way harder to end up an old person with a bunch of ideas still in your head who never believed in yourself and just fucking hate yourself at the end of your life. Like, that is way harder than working 150 hours a week. Yeah. And you got to shoot your shot.
You got to shoot your shot. Yeah. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Wayne Gretzky.
My dad said that.
Oh. All right, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
And hey, you stay frosty. And let's
still recording? All right. What's the guitar?
Mine's a guitar pick.